Good morning, everyone. We're having a morning of technical difficulties, so we're playing catch up. So we apologize for being just a minute over our start time. Good morning. Welcome to the tea time with the golf course. And as you can see on the screen being shared, that's where I want to be right now. It is beautiful out there. Please join me in welcoming Matt Peterson, the golf course manager. If you have questions, please utilize the chat feature utilize the chat feature both in Zoom and in YouTube Live. After the fact, if you have questions or if you're watching this outside of a live call, please utilize the auxillary.uga.edu website. If you go to the auxiliary connections, and the feedback form is there, and you can submit questions anonymously or identifying yourself, either way. So with no further ado, take it away, Matt.
Thank you, Catherine. Good morning, everybody. I thought I'd start out just by showing you guys a little bit of what the golf course looks like right now. Since we've been closed about, gosh, it's been 2 or 3 weeks now. It has greened up substantially. We are still working on the golf course. Our maintenance crew is out there right now, and you can actually see that dark stripe in the foreground on the 18th fairway. They're actually aerifying the fairways right now. So what that does is it just breaks up the compaction of the soil and allows oxygen, air, and nutrients to get down to the grass bed or the grass roots. So we're taking advantage of this time. Normally we'd have be covered up with golfers out there, but unfortunately, as everybody knows, we're not able to, but we're still trying to make the best of a tough situation. So I'm gonna bring it back in here to my office, and then I'll change the camera back to me. Okay, there we go. All right, now Catherine, how am I gonna get questions today? What do I need to pay attention to here?
So I will jump in and tell you questions, so you don't have to worry about following along with anything at all. So you just you get to focus on your PowerPoint and your presentation to the group.
Okay, great. If we could, let's go ahead and
all right,
put the PowerPoint up.
Let me share my screen. All right.
All right, excellent. Okay, so we're excited. I'm excited to be able to do this today and share a little bit about the golf course. You know, it's a great facility, unique facility. Not every university has a golf course. We feel like we're really lucky to have one. Let's move on to the first page there, Miss Catherine. Okay. So I thought I'd start out. You know, our history is probably a really good base for us to understand the mission of the golf course at the university and how we support the overall mission of the university itself. The golf course, it opened in 1968, but the first mention of it was in a letter from E.B. Smith, who was the health and physical fitness head at the time in 1956 to the then President Adderhold about the potential for looking into a golf course. At that point in time in history, there was a big push in the United States for physical fitness. There had been some studies done in the 50s that showed that the United States children were lagging behind many countries in terms of physical fitness and health. So there was a big push for physical fitness, and they really kind of focused in on lifelong sports. things like golf, tennis, camping, fishing, things like that, that got people outside and something they'd be able to do for their entire life. So there was this big push. President Eisenhower started it. President Kennedy really got it going in the early 60s. But at that point in time, there was a golf course in town. It's Athens Country Club. And faculty, staff, and students in 1956 were able to access that facility. They had to pay green fees, but they were able to access that facility at that time. Golf was beginning to grow. The country club started to suffer from the pressure of the students, faculty, and staff. So first thing they did is they eliminated faculty and staff from use of that facility. So they stopped allowing faculty and staff to use the facility. Second thing they did is they raised the rates on student rounds up to a whopping $1.03 per 18 holes. And the students were irate about that. So the students were a big force behind the golf course coming into existence at UGA. So those two things, the focus on physical fitness and the fact that the local golf course that was available becoming less available, led E.B. Smith to send this letter to President Adderhold. So fast forward, it took 12 years from the initial mention of the golf course to get it open. But these folks back in the 50s and 60s were really forward thinkers, because I have letters from all this is the Special Collections Library. I've got a stack about an inch thick of letters and correspondence about the golf course. But they were really thinking ahead, and outside of the recreational aspect of it, the obvious, they were looking at the golf course as a research opportunity for forestry and agriculture. They were looking at it as an activity or a place for a physical fitness department to operate. And then also it would be a training ground for the athletic teams that were in existence at that time, the golf teams. So, and then also there was mention also about fundraising and donor relations, even back then at that point in time. So it was really a really sharp bunch of folks that put this all together. And in the 60s, the thing that I think that pushed it over the edge and got it done was in the mid 60s, the university started a master plan or strategic plan for recreational facilities. And the golf course was built at about the same time that the intramural fields on campus were put in place. So this whole south end of campus was pretty vacant at that point in time, and that gave them the space to put the intramural fields and the golf course in. Because I think we're probably less, as a crow flies, we're less than a mile from the intramural fields off College Station Road. So the golf course opened in '68. Green fees at that point in time were, I think, $1.25 for students. So in 12 years, it had only gone up to $1.25, which is pretty good. For about 10 years, the golf course operated only for students, faculty, staff, and their guests. Financially, that was difficult to manage over time because it's not cheap to operate or maintain a golf course. So they opened it to the public in the late 70s. We've been open to the public since that time. We have gone through 2 renovations, one in 1990, the last one being 2006. And still today, as it was back in the beginning, our primary mission is to serve the university community as a source of golf education, research, and recreation, fundraising, donor relations. Those are still our key components to what we do on campus. So the role of the golf course is to do that, provide the university with great source of recreation, place for instruction, research, fundraising. As I mentioned, we are open to the general public, and we play host to numerous outside events throughout the year. We look at that as a key component of our existence because it's a really good town and gown centerpiece for us to have those groups, talking about local nonprofits and the like, come out, raise money for their operations through the golf course. It's a really good piece, and it's an important piece, I think, for a lot of the groups that do come out here that host events. So we're real proud of that role and that relationship we have with the community outside the university community. So as we move down the sheet, our main services, obviously we have an 18-hole golf course. We're open 363 days a year. We're closed Thanksgiving and Christmas, open the rest. We have golf carts. It's been a little over a year now. We purchased golf carts that have GPS units and touchscreens in them. It's been a big boost in customer service for us. Not only the fact, the golfers benefit, but on the back end, we're able to monitor things much better. We can tell where golfers are on the golf course at all times. We can get notices if somebody's behind pace of play. It's really a great thing for us and for our customers as well. They can order food from the golf course. They can contact us, and then of course it tells them where they are on the golf course and how far from the green they are. We also have really good driving range facility. It's probably one of the busiest driving ranges in the state of Georgia, primarily from the PE classes that we host. But we also do a lot of instructional clinics, and we have a ton of outside folks that just come in and use the range on a sometimes on a daily basis. And we have a lot of folks, a lot of regular repeat customers come in and use the range. It's just a really good place to practice and really to spend time without having to put forth, play 9 holes or 18 holes. You're talking about 2.5 to 5 hours of your time. Driving range is a way for a lot of people to kind of get their golf fix in a shorter amount of time. You can spend 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, 15 minutes, and people benefit from that. So driving range is really a key area for us to focus on in the future, and I'll get to that in just a little bit. We do have Champions Cafe, which is operated by Dining Services. If any of you guys have been out here before, I'm sure you've had Miss Pansy serve you, who she's pretty amazing, does a great job for us. The cafe is primarily a breakfast, lunch, and snack operation at this point. Again, later on in the presentation, I'll maybe explain some of the thoughts and the hopes for the future in that food and beverage department. We do, as I mentioned before, we do a lot of instruction. We do individual and group lessons. We do golf club fitting services to ensure that the player gets the equipment that fits them the best. It's, if you go out and just buy a set of clubs off the shelf, it's a bit of a crapshoot whether you get something that really fits you well and will help you improve as you go forward. The club fitting services that we do, we spend about an hour with the customer, and really kind of we watch them hit, and then we have different shafts, iron heads, wood heads, things like that to let them try, and from there we kind of develop what we feel is the best set for them at this point in time. And it's we don't, our fee for that is included in the price of the clubs, and our clubs, we have to compete with the private sector, so our prices are competitive with everybody. In the end, up front, you're probably going to spend a little bit more to get fitted clubs, but in the end, we feel like it saves you money, saves you time, saves you frustration. Because if you get a set of clubs that's not good for you, you're gonna struggle to get better. It's just the way it is. And then also another really big piece of our operation is event services. Which, as I said, we host about 60 events a year. Most of those are golf related. Some aren't, and I'll get into that a little bit later in the presentation. All right, Ms. Catherine, we got any questions yet? I see one down there. Let me see if
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
So how do you control water erosion and deposition across your course? Do you use French drains or any subsurface systems?
Yes, we do. We actually, a lot of, where we can, we try and really keep the turf healthy, because that's our first line of defense with erosion. In some areas we can do that, other areas we can't. Like in trees in a forested area, it's we're not going to be able to grow the turf. So we have subsurface drainage in a lot of places on the golf course, and all of that is tied together. And drains, we're lucky. We were built when we were built. They didn't try to move a ton of dirt. They didn't try to outwit gravity. They used gravity as their friend, and most everything on the golf course drains toward our pond on number 12. So we have a network of drainage systems that feed into the pond, which is also the pond we irrigate out of. So it's an ideal setup for us in terms of that. We do use French drains in particular areas where we can't tie into one of the drains that feed into the pond on 12, but we do. And then there's areas where we will try and slow the water down. We'll build up some riprap, things like that will slow the water down, down a hill or down through the woods. We'll slow that down just to break it up. And that tends to help. It collects the silt at that location, but also slows it down and keeps it from, gathering more silt as it goes off the property.
So is it true that you used to hold the course record?
Yeah, before the last renovation, yes. So I had the record with one other golf team member from 1990 to 2006. So
Wow.
Yeah, that was a different life, Catherine.
Well, I keep saying I want to move my office out to the driving range. So maybe if that ever happens, maybe we'll have to, you'll have to give me some lessons, and then we can have a contest.
Yeah, we can do that. No problem. I did see one question going by about what services do we offer non-golfing staff?
Yep. I was just fixing to ask you, people who are non-golfing, who are interested in exploring golf, but don't think it's an affordable activity.
So the non-golfing staff, that's something we're going to work on with our future plans. Currently, we have a beautiful space and it's open to the public, and probably the non-golfing staff, we have meeting space that we could potentially host a small meeting. Certainly the cafe, for lunch is a fantastic place to come. And if the weather's beautiful, you've got one of the best views in town to look at while you're eating your lunch outside. In terms of affordability, so what I would suggest, the great place to begin is at the driving range. We have clubs that you can use. We don't even charge people to use the clubs at the driving range. So we'd have clubs that you could use. You would buy your basket of balls, which ranges from $5 to $10, depending on how many golf balls you purchase. But there's a short game area up at the driving range too. So you can spend quite a large amount of time up there if you'd like, just with just one basket of balls. But that's the place to start in terms of affordability. To get an idea if this is something that you want to continue with. It's not an easy sport, but it can be very rewarding. And it is outside and it is at a beautiful location. So, there's a lot of benefits to it. But I understand the thought about the affordability, and that's something that we try and do our best with in terms of the fees that we charge to the faculty, staff, and students.
All right. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. There's lots of people that would enjoy that. So you'll probably be seeing a lot of faces once we're out of our sequestered state.
Yes.
What are the hours of the cafe?
So the hours, typically our first tee time is Monday through Fridays, 8 o'clock. Then summer months, we go to 7:30 on the weekends. The driving range opens 7:30 on weekdays, and then 7 o'clock on the weekends when we have 7:30 tee times. And then we're open until dark. I mean, literally, we allow play until right at sunset. Then we ask people to come in, and then the driving range usually closes about 15 minutes before sunset. So we're, in the summer, we could be open 15 hours, 16 hours for the day.
Wow. Is the cafe open during that time, that whole time?
Cafe is on not quite that long of a schedule. They'll open up first thing in the morning at 7, and then like on a summer weekend day, they'll stay open till I think around 6 or 6:30. We kind of keep it open until the last group that's going to make the turn to the back nine would make that turn to the back nine, which is about 6 or 6:30. So we try and get those folks to where they can get something before they head to the back nine, and then after that we shut it down.
Okay. We have Max wanted us to be sure and mention that if he can't work out all the details, or that if we can work out all the details, sorry, Max, we hope to have a social event for all of the auxiliary team members and their families in August.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you mention about rental clubs for people who might like to try out the sport without making a huge investment in clubs?
I did the driving range. The driving range, there's no cost for those clubs. We just have clubs up there that people can use. Or if you want to, we do have full sets down here at the clubhouse that can be rented for. I mean, you can rent them for the driving range if you'd like, but most of the time people rent them for the golf course. So yes, and those are typically around probably about $20 to rent a set of clubs for 18 holes.
Okay. Is there an option for new people to join a group?
Absolutely. We have several opportunities there. For ladies, we have a Ladies University Golf Association. They meet on Mondays after work at 5:30. And it's a very laid back atmosphere. It's ideal for beginners. In fact, we have some that are just getting started. They'll just come and kind of socialize with the group while everybody's getting ready to go play on the practice green. And then when everybody's off, they'll probably just take off until they're ready to go to the golf course. So it's very laid back. We have faculty staff leagues on Tuesday evenings, which is a great, it's a 9-hole event again. And we usually do teams, and we make teams up each week, different people, try and mix it up, different formats. Lots of good things there. And then also the university does have a rec sports league that is open to faculty staff as well. They usually play one day a week for 6 weeks, and then they have an 18-hole tournament toward the end of the semester. So, and then there's instructional things. We do get golf ready programs. Lots of things that are geared toward the beginners. Which is, we're really invested in growth of the game. A lot of junior activities. We're just really trying to get the word out that we can help and that it's a great sport.
Awesome. Do you have any? Is there any wildlife that is protected or studied on the grounds of the golf course? I can't tell you off the top of my head if we have any protected species. I bet we do. We have about 250 acres on the golf course property, and we only maintain 150 of that for the clubhouse, driving range, and golf course. So we've got 100 acres of, it could be grasslands, could be woodlands, could be wetlands. So we have a lot of wildlife out here. It's not uncommon for people to see deer any time of the day on the golf course.
You'll see hawks flying around a lot of wildlife in the ponds, outside of the fish, turtles, blue heron. I mean, I forget, we had the ecology department came out. Oh, this is a few years back, and I want to say they came out to identify the number of species of birds we have on our property, and it was like 90. It was a lot. So it's like a nature preserve. It's a recreational facility, but it is very much a nature preserve for the community.
Nice. We've had a question about your asking about your professional career. Do you want to take that now, or do you want to do that at the end of your presentation?
I could take it now. I don't know if we're going to make it to the end. I like these questions better than my PowerPoint. All right, what's the question?
Just they want the question is, tell us about your professional career. They want to know about Matt and his golfing career.
Oh, the other lifetime before I came here. Well, I don't like to talk about it too much, but I'll go into a little bit of detail. So I came to school at UGA. I played on the golf team. That was back in the mid '80s. Finished up in 1989, and then I turned professional at that time, and I played for 15 years and bounced around from from the mini tours to what is now the Corn Ferry Tour. It was Nike Tour at one point, the Ben Hogan Tour. It's had some different names. It's a PGA sanctioned tour, but I was out there for most of my playing career. I was out there 11 years. And then I played 1 full year on the PGA Tour in 2002. Then got into had some health issues with my shoulder, had some surgeries. And a good friend of mine, Dave Kuzart, who was the manager here for 28 and a half years. He and I had been friends for a long time, knew I was kind of struggling. And they had a position coming open here for a head professional, and he offered it to me, and I accepted, and it was really ideal for me at that point in time, because my oldest was just going into kindergarten, and then I had 2 other children, one with a disability, so it was time for me to get off the road. So this job worked out just perfectly, and I've been here 15 years now. So, we work hard around here. It's a great job, great people at the golf course and in auxiliary services and on campus as a whole. It's just a really great group of people to work with. And, we all feel very fortunate at this particular time to be associated and working for the university. There's a lot of people in our nation that are really struggling right now, but we're very lucky to be where we're at right now. So that's about me. I mean, I was a Terry alumni. I graduated management science degree, which is statistics and computers. Now remember, that was back in 1989. So when I left, Terry had one computer lab that had 30 computers, and that was it for the entire college.
Oh, wow.
I'm a dinosaur, as some people in auxiliary have called me before.
No, we don't listen to those people. Where would one find the team information?
Where would you find what information?
The team. Well, you were talking about the team groups that they could join.
Oh, it's on our website.
Okay.
It's on our. It's at golfcourse.uga.edu, and there's going to be a tab at the top. It'll say "Play Golf," and that's going to give you all your opportunities. Explain them to you in more detail. And actually, we're actually getting ready to launch a website update in the very near future. I think Lene can probably tell us exactly when, but Allison and Lene and marketing staff have done an amazing job with this website. It's going to be, it's special. It's really, really beautiful.
Excellent. Are there discounts for employees?
Yeah, so our rate structure is, we basically have 4 main rate categories. One is general public, second is alumni, third is university, which is going to be faculty and staff, seniors, military, Athens Clarke County staff, and then students are the 4th category. So students are around 50 to 60% off of our, our quote rack rate. Faculty staff's about, I think, 30 to 40% off. So it's not inexpensive, but we really feel like the value that we provide for the amount of money that we charge is unique, especially in this area and really anywhere around. You've got a golf course that is annually ranked one of the best university golf courses in the United States and one of the best public courses in Georgia to play. And it's in, our maintenance staff does such an amazing job keeping it up. It is a gem, and we're trying, it's kind of a hidden gem in some places, but we're trying to get that to change.
Do we still have the leagues during the week?
Yes, we do the league. Basically, we do the leagues from the start of daylight savings time till about the 2nd or 3rd week in October. At that point, we don't have enough time to get 9 holes in before dark, starting at after work at 5. So it's usually from mid-March through mid-October, and they are during the week. And we might, I don't even think we take a break at graduation. I think we just kind of plow right on through and have those, ladies is on Monday, faculty staff's Tuesday, and then intramurals is by the semester. So they do a spring, summer, and a fall intramural league.
Okay. If you'll note in the chat for all of our listeners, the Lene has placed the link for the Play Golf link, and for those watching on YouTube, you can go to the auxillary.uga.edu and Auxiliary Connections tab, and that'll be in the additional resources. We'll make that link available there as well. Matt, one of your golf is wanting to know if your superintendent is going to do one of these chats.
Yes, we're actually working with Randolph on some different opportunities that we could do out here at the golf course, and one of them would be with Scott, absolutely. And we try and he could share with about the golf course, but I also asked him, say, hey Scott, everybody's got a garden or a yard, or most everybody, I should say, has a garden or a yard that they're taking care of, or even a potted plant. Can you gear it towards something towards just general use in addition to the golf course? And he'd be happy to do that. We've also looked at potentially doing kind of a get golf ready clinic for one of these sessions, to where our teaching professionals, Clint Udell and John Crumbly, would kind of walk everybody through, getting into how to get into the game and how to get better. Then we've also kicked around a really fun one. It's because we have a lot of great outdoorsmen on our maintenance staff and on our golf ops staff. How to catch fish, what's the best way to catch a fish? Fun stuff, simple stuff, but valuable. I think valuable stuff.
Randolph is saying this will be during the personal week, the week April the 13th. And hopefully we'll be able to, for everybody to meet the furriest member, if you will, of the golf course staff, Birdie. Super cute pup.
Yeah, Birdie's a special dog. She's Scott, our superintendent. It's his dog, but she's been highly trained to chase geese from a golf course property, and she's a long-coated border collie, so she's really smart and very attentive. And she doesn't harm the geese. She doesn't do anything, to harm them. She just kind of encourages them to get off the property. And she's relentless. She will chase them from one side of the property to the other until they're gone. So, but she's real sweet, and she's dirty a lot of the time. So you gotta be okay with that. But she's a great dog.
Okay, I think we've answered all of our questions. Oh wait, no, I see a question. Who holds the record now? The golf course record right now?
Hudson Swafford. He actually did it during the one of the Stadium Classic at UGA tournaments back. I think it was 2012 when he did it. He shot 62 in the final round, and he actually won the event. So it was that was quite a highlight for everybody. Who's the most famous person to play the golf course? That's a good question. Golfing wise, probably, I would say probably Chip Beck from my era. Chip was a fantastic player. At one point in time, he was number 2 in the world in the rankings. And then currently, Bubba Watson, probably in the golfing world. He's won the Masters twice and went to UGA. So that's probably outside of it. A couple of years ago, we had a group, Vice President for Government Relations at that time, Griff Doyle, brought out a group of senators to the golf course to play. And one of them was Saxby Chambliss from Georgia, and the other was Lindsey Graham from South Carolina. And they came out and played the golf course. In the past, I mean, we host an event in the fall every year for a couple of Georgia state senators, and we've had the state Supreme Court Chief Justice out for that. I don't know if Governor he's probably been on a property, but he has not been here since he's been governor.
Nice. Well, we've interrupted your PowerPoint, but we have used all of our allotted time. Is there anything else from your PowerPoint that you wanted to share before we let everybody go?
Let me see. I think, the mission piece, I'm glad, I don't like PowerPoints, honestly. They serve a purpose, but the question piece, that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that and appreciate that. The one thing, the mission at the bottom of the current slide, when Robert Holden got here, it's been 5 years ago now already, or I forget how long it is. But soon after he arrived, we did a strategic planning session for the golf course. And the mission statement that's at the bottom of the current page is the one that our group came up with. And I really like it. And I think it hits everything right on the head. So that would be one thing I would like folks to, to kind of look at and take notice of. Outside of that, I think the staff makeup, we have 2 distinct departments at the golf course. One is golf operations, which is the staff up at the clubhouse, driving range that kind of operate the daily management of the golf course in terms of who's playing it, collecting green fees, cart fees, things like that, the use of the driving range. And then we have the maintenance department who takes care of the property. So they take care of everything living and breathing except the people on site. And they do a fantastic job. And the coordination, those 2 departments really have to coordinate well for the golf course to succeed. And I'm really proud of our team and how we communicate between departments on more than even a daily basis. I mean, we communicate multiple times throughout the day to make sure everything's going the way it needs to be. You know, we keep each other alert of any upcoming events, things like that. But it's really a great group of people that I'm honored to be able to support from my position to help them do their jobs as well as they can. They're really all experts at what they do, which makes it easy for me because I just kind of get out of their way and just, if they need something, I try and get it for them and then just let them, you know, do their thing. So, you know, that's our kind of our mantra here at the golf course.
Awesome. Any other questions before we leave?
The rest of the PowerPoint does have good information in it, and you know, it's probably self-explanatory, but if there is anything, if you guys look at it and have questions about anything, you know, I'm happy to answer those questions, you know, via email or chat or whatever. Catherine, whatever you guys set up, I'm happy to answer anything that comes up after this session's over.
Okay, definitely. If you do have questions that come up again, after the session is over, please use the provide feedback link on auxillary.uga.edu under the auxiliary connections. You'll find the link there for providing feedback. You can anonymously, or you can provide your name, and we'll also make this PowerPoint presentation available as well.
Hey, Catherine, can I say one last thing?
Yeah, go, please do.
Okay. I just, you know, I didn't mention, you know, the staff here. I didn't mention about our student staff, but, you know, our student staff is critical to this operation. We could not function without them. And we really, you know, because of that, we really have to, we invest a lot in our student staff, and we really try and prepare them as if, you know, this were their full-time job. So in terms of getting them ready for what they do after school. But our students are fantastic. They are, you know, they're the smiling faces that you first run into at the golf course. And, you know, I can't stress how well they do that job for us. You know, and we work with them a lot. We work side by side with them, you know, and a lot of times we learn as much from them as they do from us. And we really, you know, really try and develop those mentorships with our students that last the entire, you know, a lot of the kids that come here to work will stay with us until they finish school, which is a great thing because it's, you know, they become experts on site. So our student employees are fantastic. Love them.
Yes, they are. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us today. Please reach out to us via the feedback portal if you have questions. Matt, you'll probably be seeing a lot of faces around the golf course once the pandemic is lifted, and we'll all be out there to try out some golf club. We
can't wait. We can't wait. We're so ready for this to be over. It's so ready. I know everybody else is too.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a good day.
You too.